Hey there you guys! So it's been a while. I think the last time I uploaded a video was about a year ago. Sorry, I'm a complete failure. I fell into a really big reading slump till about January of this year when I started to have required reading for English. That helped guide me a little bit. I started finding books I liked again, and I hopefully am done with the slump, and I'm actually currently 7 books ahead of my Goodreads reading challenge, which is nice. Just in time for BookTubeAthon. I just kind of wanted to do kind of a January through June reading wrap up, kind of update on where I am and books that I'm planning on reading this month. I'm gonna have another video up soon with my BookTubeAthon TBR, kind of detailing that, showing all of those things. I have them, I'm gonna film them both today, so all I have to do is edit them. Right now I'm just gonna talk briefly about all of the things that I've read in the last 6 months. The first book that I read, and a lot of these I don't have in physical form because I read them through school, so they aren't my copies. The first book that I read that I just can't find the copy to right now is Ghosts by Raina Telgemeier. I read this right at the beginning of the year, and it was awesome, and I was like, okay, after this I'm going to keep reading, and then it didn't really happen, but I really enjoyed it. Raina's books take me like 30 minutes to 45 minutes, but they're such good little quick reads that, you know, are good to finish off or good to encourage you to read more. The second book that I read / kind of followed along with was Sophocles' Antigone. We read this in my Ancient Civilizations class. We ended up watching a production of it and kind of read and followed along, so I didn't really read it by myself, but we kind of read it as a class. We read some stuff out loud, we watched some stuff through the video and that sort of thing. It was really fun reading that play in class. Normally we read Shakespeare, so it was nice reading something by another famous writer. The next thing that I read was Rita Hayworth's The Shawshank Redemption by Stephen King. We read this in my film as lit class and then went ahead and watched The Shawshank Redemption, which was one of my favorite movies we watched in the first trimester. It was such a good thing to see the two next to one another. Obviously there are differences. You guys can see my starred reviews when, like, if you go to my Goodreads page, because I'm not going to bother talking about all that right now. The next book that I read was Wuthering Heights by Emily Bronte. This is a different copy than the one that we read in class, but we read this in my AP Literature class. This was a different copy than of what we read in class. It wasn't one of my favorite books. I can't remember, I think I gave it a 3 or a 4, but I do want to read it again in a few years when I have a little bit more life experience in front of me. It's something that I didn't like at the time, but hopefully I will eventually come to more appreciate it in the future. The next thing that we read was The Handmaid's Tale by Margaret Atwood. We didn't read it in class because of the Hulu show. It kind of just was a coincidence. So one of the days that we had free time, whatever, we watched one of the episodes, so that was really fun. I'm not caught up on the TV show. I want to be, and I waited until all of it was out, but I don't have Hulu, so some of my friends and I are going to end up marathoning it. This was probably one of my favorite books we read all year. We read this in my AP Lit class. It was definitely one of my favorite books we read all year. The next thing that I read was Julius Caesar by William Shakespeare. We also read this and watched it in my Ancient Civilizations class. It was good. Very confusing because it's Shakespeare. Still very, very good and something that I really enjoyed reading. The next thing that we read was V for Vendetta by Alan Moore, and this was a good graphic novel. We hadn't read a graphic novel all year, so it was nice reading a graphic novel in class. We ended up starting the movie, but we didn't watch much more than maybe a half an hour because she didn't want to take that time to show us another film in the class. We read it in my AP Lit class. It was good. There were a lot of people that don't like graphic novels and don't like visual stories like that, so they didn't really enjoy it, but I did. The next thing that we read was Metamorphosis by Frank Kafka. It was something that none of us liked. I think I even still gave it like a 4 or something like that on Goodreads. It wasn't a fun read. It was in my AP Lit class and we needed it for a lesson for our existentialist unit. We read other stuff that was way more appeasing to the whole group. The next thing that we read in class was No Exit by Jean-Paul Sartre. This was definitely more of a favorite, but me and my classmates, 2 of my partners, we ended up making a little peep diorama about it at the end of the year. We liked it so much. It was definitely a good read. It kind of opened all of our eyes a little bit and showed us, you know, how different people, how you view yourself differently in death and than in life, and how other people viewed you and all that sort of stuff. The next 3 books I read were read over our spring break, and I read these in Florida while I was on vacation. The first thing that I read was Lumberjanes. It's by a bunch of different people. It's Lumberjanes Volume 1, and it was such a cute read. Definitely something that I needed. It was super, super fast, and the art style was super, super adorable. And so I'm glad I read this. I want to read more because it kind of went super fast and left off super vague in where it was headed. The next thing that I finished while on vacation was Fun Home, a family tragicomic by Alison Bechdel. This was, I'm so glad I read this. I powered through this in probably an hour, hour and a half. It was something that everyone should read. It's also a musical on Broadway, or was, I can't remember if it finished its run. It's really something that everybody needs to read. And the last thing that I finished while on vacation was Magnus Chase and the Gods of Asgard, Book 1, The Sword of Summer. I have been so behind on Rick Riordan's books. I was so happy to finally finish this. I had been reading it for probably 8 months, just off and on, reading a chapter here, a chapter there, and on vacation I was like, I have to finish it. I need to finish this at least. So I did all of it. It was so good. I don't know why I didn't read it before and just sit down and read it. Definitely, you know, another Rick Riordan favorite. The next thing that we read in my AP Literature class was a play called Waiting for Godot by Samuel Beckett. It was good. It opened a lot of class discussion, something that a lot of us that were in theater were like, this is so simple, what's going on? I would definitely say it was good. It wasn't great, it was good. The next thing that I read was The Hobbit by J.R.R. Tolkien. I had started this on vacation. I don't have a physical copy of it. We read this in my World Myth class, then proceeded to watch all 3 films and discuss the likes and differences of the entire film compared to the book. The next thing that I read was Colder, Volume 1 by Paul Tobin. This was a graphic novel that I never would have picked up had my boyfriend not suggested it to me. I wouldn't say it was one of my favorite reads, but it was definitely something that I would never have picked up had he not told me to. The next thing that I read was, again for my World Myth class, and it was Amaterasu, Return of the Sun, which is a Japanese myth, which is by Paul D. Story. This was something that we read like a day or 2 in class, and it was super, super short and really, really good actually. The next thing that I read, or more so kind of flipped through, was The Little Book of Wonder Woman. I picked this up at Barnes & Noble a while back, and after watching the movie I wanted to read this, and it was more so kind of just a skimming through because it kind of just shows Wonder Woman throughout the ages. So it goes through all of the beginning comics and goes through her original film and all that sort of thing. Ends with like some Justice League stuff. So I skimmed through this. It was really, really awesome just kind of seeing the progression of her. Loved the movie, so it was great. The next thing that I read was the first 4 volumes of The Wicked and Divine. I don't remember off the top of my head who they're by. I had already read the first 2 volumes, or no, I'd already read the first volume. Then my friend ended up saying, hey, I know we both love the first volume. I have the next 3. Do you want to borrow them? And I was like, well, yes. So I reread the first one, and then proceeded to read the next 3. And holy crap, does the story like pick up and run fast. It was so good. I'm so glad I read it. I know the 5th volume just came out, and I'm so excited to get it and read it. And the last thing that I read that I just finished a couple days ago at work was a reread of Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone with these beautiful, beautiful covers. My friends and I are doing a Harry Potter book club this summer, so we are rereading, well, they're rereading all 7 books. I am rereading the first 2 and then proceeding to read the next 5. We're kind of doing this because I haven't read all of them, and so it's kind of a boost to keep me going and kind of keep me focused on reading them. And now on to the books that I plan on reading in July that don't include the BookTubeAthon TBR. So first thing I want to finish is We Are Okay by Nina LaCour. I don't have the dust jacket on it right now. I'm like 50 55, 56 pages into this. It's really good so far. Nina LaCour is like one of my favorite authors. I'm hoping to finish this soon. Yeah, I just haven't really sat down here at home and had time to read. And the next 2 books that I am going to finish this month, probably finish more, but these are just for sure's, are Harry Potter and the Chamber of Secrets and Harry Potter and the Prisoner of Azkaban by J.K. Rowling. So that's pretty much it for this video today, guys. I'm sorry that I've been so poor at uploading videos. I'm hoping that with BookTubeAthon and just life kind of evening out, I'm gonna have more time to film videos and edit them and do that, all that sort of thing. So I will see you guys all in my next video, which will be my BookTubeAthon TBR, and I hope to get that filmed and uploaded today or filmed and edited today as well. So I'll see you guys all then. Goodbye!